It's basically, I create a model for understanding play and then justify why that should be the case. So, for example,
please.
There's a
please example.
Yeah, okay. This is gonna get kind of. I'll try to keep
Might it get a little dorky? Go for it.
Make it a little dorky
because someone out there is going, "Thank God, someone is finally discussing this."
So, I talk about epistemology, which is philosophical theories of knowledge.
That's right.
And
I do know this, but I can't remember offhand.
And part of what I talk about is there an epistemology, a way of thinking about knowledge that in which play makes sense? Because, for example, if you're, it's like, why should we want to play from an evolutionary perspective? It's like it doesn't seem to benefit us in any way. And some people have said, oh, well, play is all about learning. But if you really look at how people play, sometimes we learn when we're playing and sometimes we don't. It's not just a learning-related thing.
Okay.
And so there is a branch of epistemology called pragmatism, which was invented in the 19th century by a crazy guy named Charles Sanders Peirce, but has been then developed over time.
Right.
And it basically talks about knowledge only making sense in how we use it to understand the world. So,
well, he sounds like a pile of fun.
He was had the misfortune to not have enough people to talk to. I think the internet would have solved all his issues. So he
because you're never alone. He would not have been alone.
He
if he
came
would
up
have
with
had
a lot of stuff when he was alone. And in any case, instead of thinking of knowledge as being knowing the properties of something, pragmatism says it's just about knowing how things behave. So it's not knowing what things are, it's knowing what things do.
Okay.
And this ties in very well with science, because with science, in many cases...
You have to figure out.
Right, and with science is all about figuring out what things do.
Right.
And even when you get down to things like subatomic particles, it's like, what is an atom? Do atoms even exist? You have particle wave duality. Are they really there?
Right. It's not the philosophy of what?
Right. It's the philosophy of how it functions. And so pragmatism feeds into this. And so if you think about this way of understanding knowledge, then there's a procedure that we go through to understand the world that maps on very nicely to how play unfolds. And so we have this...
somebody's backing up in our neighborhood. I don't know that they can hear it, but that's fine.
Okay.
Eventually they'll stop backing up.
Yeah. So basically what I do is look at if we have a pragmatic model of knowledge production where we are understanding things as they unfold through a system of rules,
right,
then we might enjoy being put in situations where we can anticipate how things would unfold easily. And play spaces tend to be situations.
So it's about control. It's about an illusion of control in our lives.
It is, because well, I mean, we want to be in situations where not only do things go the way we want, but we know that they're going to go the way we want.
Right.
It's not just we want.
It's just soothing.
It's soothing, and it's very relaxing. The analogy I use is like parks are like idealized forms of the African savannah. And it's like, if you could live anywhere, you'd want to live in a park, because there's lots of nice grass, but there's trees to hide in if the lions come along. And there's you can hear fresh water, which means that you're not going to go thirsty, but there's some food nearby probably because there's water.
A popcorn stand.
And so there's something that feels really right about a park as a place to be in an evolutionary sense. It's like that is the idealized physical environment that we want to occupy.
Right, because it's like outdoors.